lecture of Down to Earth, we would understand few of the very important topics related to India, and then we would also talk about the water crisis issue in Africa. So to begin with, the issue of opium trade. Now, opium trade in 8 of the villages in Bihar's Gaya district was because of the illegal opium cultivation that started as the farmers were facing monetary issues and they did not had enough money for their survival, so they shifted towards growing opium. Now, with the efforts, they have been shifted towards growing lemongrass, drumstick trees. Now, drumstick powder could be sold in the market, and similarly, mahua trees, which is the oil nut. Mahua flowers have been commercially utilized, and tilkut, which is made from mahua flowers, is again sold in the market. So those are some of the initiatives through which this transition has taken place. Now again, there are countries who are working for green energy, and for green energy a lot of billions of dollars of investment are welcomed, and countries like France is in favor of it. However, there are countries like Germany, Austria, Luxembourg, Portugal, who are in favor of the nuclear energy as one of the major sources. Also, we have seen that South Korea is one of the countries which has moved to liquefied natural gas as one of the cleaner fuels, and it is believed that if LNG or liquefied natural gas is used, it could cut the amount of emissions. In India, urban waste management is a big issue. So far, we have nearly 65 million tons of urban solid waste which is generated. However, by 2030, it is believed to rise to 165 million tons. Now, with so much of urban waste, we need a circular economy and a center where material recovery and reuse can be done. Also, in the last few years, we have seen a significant extremes in weather or climatic conditions. The cold weathers have become extremely cold. Now in Alaska, we have seen cold winds at nearly minus 55 degrees Celsius as one of the lowest temperature which was reached. Also, in these areas, the last 7 records of daily minimum temperature have been broken. We have seen in the North China, one of the cities which is Hulunbuir has witnessed a temperature of minus 47 degrees Celsius. Now, India is also seeing a lot of cold waves accompanied with dense fog, especially in the northern area, and we have attributed this cold condition to the La Nina in India this time. The next is most of the food that we eat. It is believed that if whole of the planet turns vegetarian, in that case the food emissions would reduce by 44%. That means the greenhouse impact or greenhouse footprints would reduce by 44%, and this would improve the overall situation of global warming and greenhouse effect. So turning to fruits, vegetables, legumes, environmental friendly cultivation is one of the ways which can actually control the various global issues. The next is the Thowaites, which is considered as the doomsday glacier. It is one of the largest ice mass in Antarctica, and it is of the size of nearly Britain. Now this glacier holds so much water that if whole of this glacier melts, the sea level can rise by 0.65 meters, which is significantly high. Scientists have said that it can contribute to 4% of the global sea level rise. Large cracks have been shown in the Thowaites, or the Doomsday Glacier as it is called, and therefore the coastal environment and underwater ecosystem has become a very important concern in those areas. Also, we have seen in the Himalayan areas a lot of region has turned to cold desert. We have seen that there have been changing precipitation patterns in the north area and cold desert of Komik village in Himachal Pradesh. We have seen one such extreme example which has been witnessed, and a significant decline in the precipitation. Now here we have some of the curves which show that how the temperature over the years have been rising, and there have been anomalies in precipitation which has been witnessed. We have also seen that there are numerous rivers which run across the Himalayas and mainly the region of Himachal Pradesh. All of these river basin size have significantly reduced. For example, Beas basin size has reduced from 2500 500 to nearly 2000 square kilometers. Ravi Basin, Satluj Basin, all of those have reduced, but the most impact has been seen in Satluj, where it is from 11,800 square kilometers to just 9,000 square kilometers. Also, we have seen huge number of dams which are built on these rivers, and the catchment size has significantly changed. This has led to increased warming activities in the region. Also, we have seen that the mountainous areas, the monsoon season, which usually occurs between May and August, has seen a significant reduction. The normal monsoon rainfall for the mountainous region is somewhere around 37.6 millimeters. However, it is believed that in 2022, this monsoon rainfall would be just 21.9 millimeters, a deficit of nearly 42%, which is again a significant deficit. And therefore, in Leh, they are planning to have Leh Nutritional Project, which helps farmers or the villagers to actually build artificial glaciers, and through those artificial glaciers, the springs and the rivers can be regularly fed. Then we talk about Chile's new constitution. Now, Chile is one of the countries of South America, and this is one of the world's most unequal countries. Now, the current constitution was brought by the dictator Augusto Pinochet, and this has been replaced by the new constitution in Chile. Now, this has talked about numerous important changes, because Chile is one of the largest reserve of lithium, and we have seen a rise in the demand over the recent years, because lithium has been used in batteries and electric vehicles, and therefore demand for lithium has significantly increased. Now, an election of 155 member constitutional convention with 50% seat was held. Women as well as indigenous communities, the tribal communities, were made part of it. Among the major points which were laid down, the first point talks about regulating the mining activity in Chile. The second important point is to draw a limit for damaging the environment. The third important point is to define the importance of water and decide whether it is a private resource or a community resource. And the fifth important point is, since lithium is extracted from liquid brine is the salt solution, they should consider brine as a mineral, not as a water, which has been laid down in the Chile's new whole decision that has come up specifically in regards with the lithium issue. The next is sustainable farm agriculture. Now, definitely when we say the greenhouse emissions are increasing, we need to have mitigation measures and technologies which can reduce the amount of greenhouse gases. Therefore, if we talk about the total greenhouse emissions from India, as per 2016 data, we see 14% of the greenhouse emissions comes from agriculture, 75% from energy, 8% from industries, and 2.7% from waste. So, within agriculture, if we say where actually does greenhouse gas emissions come from, so 54% of the greenhouse emissions in agriculture come from enteric fermentation, which is a natural digestive process of the ruminants, basically the cattle, the buffaloes, goats, and so on. 17% comes from rice cultivation, 19% greenhouse emission comes from fertilizer use, 6% from manure, and 2.2% from burning of the remaining agricultural residue. So, we need to have a Panchamrit or a five-fold strategy, and for this we are trying to reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. Also, to bring in digital agriculture, use of renewable sources of energy, improving water efficiency, and better research and innovation in the field. The next is water use efficiency. The water which is used for agriculture from India accounts for 80% of the total fresh water that India has. So, we need to have a well-pronged strategy that can be used for utilizing that water in a systematic manner. More crop per drop of water is one of the approaches that government is moving forward for. The next is managing the watershed, and then various schemes like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, the traditional water bodies revival, harvesting structures to be built, and so on. The next is digital agriculture, as we said. So with smartphones, with telephones, we can have smarter agriculture. How the farmers can take advantage of the recent happenings, the recent climatic phenomena. For example, Meghdoot is one of the applications through which farmers are acquainted about the climatic conditions, and this has gained immense popularity among farmers. Now with the help of Meghdoot, they can know what is the right time to sow the crop, what is the right time to harvest, and also the various digital tools have made the things much more simpler, much more transparent for the farmers. The next is in the section of research and innovation, it is basically how grain quality can be improved, the productivity of the crop can be improved, and the crop could be made disease free or pest free. So how we understand this agricultural development is important. Similarly, since we talked about Child's brine as one of the issues for lithium mining, it's not just Child. In India, it is the little run of Kutch in the region of North Gujarat, which has huge brine reserves. This area is nearly 5,000 square kilometers, and it is one of the third largest reserves of salt. India, we can say, is the third largest reserve of salt after US and China. There are 11 rivers from Saurashtra, North Gujarat and Rajasthan which actually drain water here, and the temperature varies from 0 degree to 50 degrees, 0 degree in the winters to 50 degrees in the summers. So there is one of the local communities which is known as Agaria community. Now this Agaria community actually are traditional salt farmers. So what they do is they have installed solar powered pumps to harvest the salt. So what they do is they actually take the underground brine, which is highly concentrated, and separate it in pans, what they locally call as agars, and in these agars they leave the brine, let it evaporate, and the salt is crystallized and salt is collected. So what they do is every year in the October, after the monsoon season goes off, they migrate to the Ran area, the coastal area, and set up their tents, set up their huts there, and start doing brine extraction. Now, with the help of one of the non-profit companies, which is the Center for Development, they have actually installed nearly 3,000 solar pumps, and this has changed the life of Agarias. They can now have lighting in the houses, in the huts through the solar power sets, and also with the help of this they can actually drill deeper to get the brine from the underground resources. So they are now able to get better pricing as well as better savings. So this is one of the case studies on brine. The next is, as I mentioned, Africa's water crisis. Now agriculture employs 80% of the population of Africa. 1.3 million of the 27 million population is surviving on one or the other some kind of food aid from outside. Madagascar, which is an island nation close to Africa, so here you have the Africa and you have the Madagascar. This Madagascar is on pursuit for 24/7 water supply. In the southern regions of Africa, we have seen that droughts are very frequent, the rains have become shorter in duration, and farmers are now spending half of their earning on getting water in one way or the other. If we talk about the cost of water, 20 liters of water cost nearly, in Indian rupees, it is somewhere around 40 to 80 rupees, and in Malay, which is the Malay Erede, which is the currency there, it is 2,000 to 4,000, and this is in the capital city of Madagascar, Ambovombe. So that is the cost of water just to have their routine life fulfilled. So Madagascar has been deficit in last 5 of the 6 years, and the World Food Program has termed this as the first famine which is caused because of global warming. Water inflation has started in these areas, and there is now Nearly 43% of the Madagascar's clean drinking water taps which do not have any water, and that is because of the global warming situation. Now Africa is one of the most water stressed continents across the globe, and it is believed that one third of the African population is prone to drought cause 16% of the disaster but 95% of the deaths in Africa. Floods, on the other hand, contribute to 60% of the disasters but 4% of the deaths. So, definitely, the deaths which are induced due to drought are significantly higher, and this problem needs to be addressed. Similarly, if we talk about Zambia as a country, Zambia, the Disease Intelligence Agency actually reports the cases of diarrhea on a regular basis, similar to the COVID-19 cases that we report. Now, this diarrhea cases, why they are reported? Because the water supply which is going through is contaminated with fecal matter, and there is extreme high concentration of fluoride, arsenic, chlorides because of the geology of that region. So there is the diarrheal problem which is very common, specifically due to Vibrio cholerae which is found there. In Africa, we have also seen that in the eastern part, nearly 20 million people are worst affected by food security issues, and that is because of the consecutive failed rainy seasons which have been witnessed in eastern Africa. If we talk about the Juba river basin, which is called as the breadbasket of Somalia, it has seen lowest rainfall since 1981. If we talk about the conflicts, most of the conflicts in Africa are because of water. Chad Basin, which surrounds the region of Niger, Nigeria and Cameroon, had the dispute which started in 1980, and it is because the farmers and the herders are not able to get adequate water, and the water levels have diminished by 90%. Niger River Basin between Niger, Mali and Nigeria, dispute started in 1980, and it is because of the disagreements to the damage which has caused and restricted water supply in certain regions. Congo Basin dispute started back in 1960s, and there have been constant violence, political instability and forced displacement of the population in that area. Nile River, again an important case study because the dam has been constructed in Ethiopia and Egypt lies on the downstream. Now, Egypt fears that the construction of this dam would impact the water flow in Egypt from Ethiopia, and therefore this Grand Renaissance Dam, which it is named as, is one of the largest projects, could impact the life of people in Egypt. Turkana Lake, which lies between Kenya and Ethiopia, the dispute started in 2016, and here 90% of the water comes from Omo River in the Turkana Lake. There have been significant rising temperatures and reduced rainfall, which has led to intertribal conflicts, and the tribes themselves are in a very unstable position in that region. Similarly, we have the case of Victoria Lake, 2009, when the dispute started between Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, and people are constantly having a conflict there. Edward Lake, again Nyasa Lake, so Nyasa Lake between Tanzania and Malawi, Edward between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. All of those, we have seen that there have been cases where either people are having exclusive rights to lake, or there is violence, there is political instability, there is construction of dam. In some way or the other, there are disputes between the countries itself in Africa. The next is there are rising autoimmune diseases because of pandemic. Sturgeon syndrome is one of such autoimmune disease where antibody attack the cells which produce tear and saliva. These autoimmune disorders attack the healthy cells of the body and hamper the normal functioning of the human being. Patients with severe COVID-19 have more autoantibodies than those with a mild infection. Now, autoimmune disorders can be managed through steroids. Now, steroids mute the immune system, but these steroids again have a significant impact. For example, ulcerative colitis, which is the inflammation in the large intestine where inflammatory bowel syndrome occurs is one of the impact of this. If we talk about some of the impacts of COVID-19, we have seen from December 2021, with just 1.31 million cases, in a very short span of 10 days on 8th January 2022, the worldwide cases soared to 2 million, which is a significantly higher number which we have witnessed. So that is one of the case studies. The next is the pharma companies. Now Pfizer and Moderna are two of the companies from America who have been bringing in vaccines. Pfizer alone is expected to generate a revenue of $36 billion, in contrast to Moderna with $15 to $18 billion. Pfizer vaccine, the storage is somewhere from -80 to 20 degrees Celsius, but if it is shifted from one storage to another, the shelf life gets affected. In US, nearly 70% of the population has a single vaccination, 60% is fully vaccinated, and now a lot of them have also the booster doses which are given. In Andhra Pradesh, there is a village which is known as Nilampadu, and this has won a battle against the state government and a private company, and the idea is to save the village from any kind of mining activity. The case went to Andhra Pradesh High Court, and finally the local people won the case. And the major idea here is the calcite is a mineral which is used in building, soil treatment and application material, which was to be mined in this region, and the residents have actually won the case, and there is no more mining of calcite in that region. The next is China has brought a new food import bill, and this says that any kind of foreign company would not be allowed to sell its product from wine, chocolate to coffee in China. So it is a move to have growth of the indigenous agriculture and indigenous industry. Similarly, we have some other developments which are seen. For example, in Israel, there was a severe avian flu which was found, and 5,000 wild cranes and 500,000 chickens were slaughtered within just 1 month. Sri Lanka, a lot of fishermen were detained from India because they were in the territorial waters of Sri Lanka. We have also seen that the lot of tigers have been affected, and the most of the important reasons for killing of the tigers have been claimed to be the natural causes, but there have been a significantly higher rise in the fatality in terms of the tiger population, which is as per the tiger census which is released. So those are some of the key headlines from Down to Earth this time. As I said, water inflation and the crisis in Africa, the country conflict between the various countries of Africa is a significant issue of concern. So we would be covering many interesting sessions and Down to Earth every fortnightly. Stay tuned. Good luck.